welcome back to my channel. I'm Katie, but you can also call me Dinky. And if you're new to my channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so you do not miss out on any future uploads that I make. In today's video, I'm doing another episode of my mini-series about serial killers, and today's focus is on Elizabeth Bathory.
My name is Countess Elizabeth Bathory.
I will say in advance there may be pronunciation errors being made, which I apologise for, but I do not speak these languages that of where this story is based from. Now I'm going to give you a general description of Elizabeth, and then I will go into more about her and her life and her crimes. So she was an Hungarian countess, and her family was one of the most powerful Hungarian aristocrats, and they possessed a string of castles which were very impressive by today's standards in present day Austria, Hungary and Slovakia. And there are a lot of unknown confirmed statistics and things that may have happened and may not have happened, but I will just tell you what I have learned myself, and I hope you enjoy this video. Elizabeth Bathory was born in 1560, and she had powerful connections, and her family had dominated Transylvania, and her uncle had ruled Poland. Growing up, she was very, very well educated. As a child, she suffered with multiple seizures, and at the time, symptoms related to epilepsy were diagnosed as fallen sickness, and the treatments that treated this included rubbing blood of a non-sufferer on the lips of an epileptic person, or giving an epileptic person a mixture of a non-sufferer's blood and a piece of a skull as the episode of the seizure had ended. Ew. And this leads to speculation that Elizabeth's killings were effects of the way to cure the illness, but there is no evidence to support this speculation. So as a child, she was taught Latin, German, Greek and Hungarian, and she was raised as a Calvinist Protestant. There are various attempts to explain her cruelty, and some of these include that she was trained by her family to be cruel, and that she witnessed cruel punishments, such as people being executed by the family's officers and the family members themselves. And it seems that they were involved in Satanism and witchcraft, which, if you think back to that kind of period in history, witchcraft was often the case with a lot of people around the world, in the UK, in the US, and even around parts of Europe and Russia. When Elizabeth was just 10 years old, there was a political arrangement made by her family and the family of Ferenc Negasti, who was the son of a baron. But because her social standing was so high, she refused to change her surname, so he assumed the name Bathory instead of when they got married when she was 15 and he was 19. And they got married at the palace of Ranov and Topolu on the 8th of May 1575. And now at the wedding there was approximately 4,500 guests, because of this is what it was like in aristocracy. Lots of family members, staff, and associates. And between the couple, they had 4 non-children: Paul, Anna, Ursula, and Catherine. And I have forgot to add that she did have a child to a pheasant boy in the local area, and she and the family had entrusted a lady in the local area, and they paid her to do this. And then she took the child to Wallachia. So she was 30 years old when this happened. Ferenc died on the 4th of January 1604, and he was 48 years old. And he became disabled over time due to unknown illnesses, but he did have pain which was debilitating in his legs and got worse from there. And he had entrusted his heirs and widow to Georgi Thurko, and this was who led the investigation into her crimes later on. She spent a lot of time on her own at the castle, which he had bought her as a wedding gift, and this was at Nettersty Castle. And he spent a lot of time studying away in Vienna. I'm going to be talking about the accusations and the crimes of Elizabeth Bathory. And her initial victims were serving girls aged between 10 and 14 years old. And they were the daughters of local pheasants. And they were lured by offers of well-paid work as maids and servants in the castle. I remember she had various castles, but particularly Nadasti Castle, where she resided. And then later on, she began to kill the daughters of lesser gentry, and these were sent by their own parents to learn courtly etiquette. And there's abductions that occurred as well. So I'm guessing young women, young girls were taken through no choice but by themselves or the families. They were just stolen. I'm not sure how exactly, but they were abducted. And atrocities such as severe beatings, burning or mutilation of hands, biting flesh of faces, arms and other body parts, freezing or starving to death, and the use of needles under fingernails and various different torture methods used against these victims. And this was mentioned by the collaborators in court. And according to the Budapest City Archives, girls were burned with hot tongs and placed in freezing cold water. And they were covered in honey and live ants, and then they were left to be attacked by bees. I think it's what I read correctly, which is quite horrific. Can you imagine how terrifying and scared these girls were, especially back then as well. There was also suspicion of cannibalism as well. The trials were quite interesting as well, because there was 2 trials, and Elizabeth Bathory was not on trial, even though she was the one that committed these crimes. And the first trial was held on the 2nd of January, and the second one was held on the 7th of January 1611. And there was dozens of witnesses and survivors. Sometimes up to 35 people testified each day. Can you imagine how long the hearings must have gone on for? And how crazy it must have been at the time with all these witnesses and survivors. And then you've got the public, because back then court trials were very public. It was entertainment back then, which is quite bizarre to think about it nowadays. So all but one of the Countess's servants were testifying against her. In addition to the testimony, The court also examined the skeletons and cadaver parts found as evidence, and the exact number of victims were unknown, but during the trial, Dorothea Gentes and Fico reported 36 and then 7 victims. Other defendants, Ilona Joe and Katerina Benica, estimated over 50 victims, and many Sarah Castle personnel estimated number of bodies removed from the castle between 100 and 200. A servant spoke as a witness in the court trials, and they said to have provided a list of more than 650 victims' names, allegedly written in Elizabeth's own handwriting, but they haven't been seen, or it's not known where they are currently. And there's 32 letters stored in Hungarian state archives, and I'm sure you might be able to research them online somewhere, or if you live in that particular area, you might be able to go and visit the archives and see what you find there. So there were 4 servants and intimates who were all arrested, and they were tried and found guilty. 3 were executed, and the 4th was sentenced to life imprisonment, which I find so strange that Elizabeth was not on trial, but it shows how powerful her and her family were, and the social standing that they had back in that day. And it was like people were too scared to punish her. So Elizabeth was imprisoned to Cachis Castle and placed in solitary confinement. And it is reported that she was kept bricked in a set of rooms with only small slits left open for ventilation and passing food through. So can you imagine how dark and scary and quite claustrophobic as well it must have been, if this is the case. She remained immersed there for 4 years until her death. And then on the evening of 21st of August 1614, she was complaining to her bodyguard that her hands were really cold, and he replied, "It's nothing, mistress, just go lie down." So she did, and she went to sleep and was found dead the next morning. And she was buried on the 25th of November 1640 in the church of Kachik. And there was such an uproar by villagers that they decided to move her body to her birth home, but the exact unknown location of where they put her body is unknown. There are no grave markings anywhere. Going over everything of the fact that she was a Hungarian countess, it shows how powerful a countess was back then, and especially in these countries, and how different things were. Slovakia's history has been under the rule of oligarchs and dictators, buried and discredited the tale. And it's only recently, since the fall of the USSR in 1989, that historians have been able to figure out what the truth is, what isn't the truth, which I'm guessing was pretty common back then. I'm not quite sure what to make of this female serial killer. She's obviously the most prolific serial killer. She's killed more than many, many, many others put together. And she had accomplices. It's just, it's hard to know what is the truth, isn't it? Because we don't know exactly what is the truth. I know I've repeated this now to you. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. And it's crazy. It really is crazy. Like, when I was reading, I was like, is this real? And I was doing more and more research just to make sure that everything was solidified what one article said, what another piece said. It seems like, it did happen, but things maybe a little bit sketchy. We all know back then there was a lot of violence, and there was the witchcraft going on, and how powerful these people who lived in these castles were. And they ruled the kingdoms, didn't they? I feel like I haven't really done this case justice, and I apologise for that. But that's all that I have for it, really. But I just found it really interesting and fascinating. It's so different to what I've talked about in my previous videos. I just had to have it as a video itself. I would love to know what your thoughts are. You know, do you come from the areas of where Elizabeth Bathory lived? Or do you have relatives or acquaintances that know this story? Obviously, like, I have shown you pictures that, you know, you can't deny pictures, you know, what you see is there. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you find it as interesting that I have. And don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you've enjoyed watching this. Share, and I will see you all in my next video. Okay, bye, bye.